everybody, this is Munson Steve. We are on Design and Dialogue, like design, the power of design. But there's a special place and a special place in DC. For all you who don't know, there is chocolate still being made in the city of DC. And there is creativity thanks to the mayor, the past mayor, Marion Barry, a current mayor, and Cora Berry, who clearly is an advocate for Black artists in the community. LeGreg Harrison, how are you? Welcome to
I'm
Design
well.
Dialogue.
I'm well. Thanks for having me.
So tell me the name of the space that is happening that you're involved in.
Yeah, so the name of the space that I'm involved with is called Sycamore and Oak Retail Village. All
So
right.
when you think of a retail village in Acosta or Southeast DC, it seems to surprise some people, but why shouldn't they be surprised?
Well, they shouldn't be surprised because Southeast DC, which is east of the river, Ward 8 and Ward 7, I'm actually from Congress Heights. So the actual neighborhood that the retail village sits in is my old neighborhood, right? And now I'm currently living there now as well. So I've been a long-time resident. I'm a fourth generation Washingtonian, and they should not be surprised because Washington, DC, primarily Ward 8 has been the backdrop of art and culture for the city. It has been a place where the community is very resilient, but it has always lacked resources coming directly from the city, right? And I think that's why this project was so important because it's indeed probably the last part of Washington, D.C. that's been gentrified. And this side is being gentrified at a much slower pace than everywhere else because of the community ties, right?
So when you think about a retail space and creating that voice, but you've got a special design, we're on Design and Dialogue, but you've got an architect. How has having David as an architect as part of this project, Retail Village, and his style, what has he brought to this project and what have you and he been able to establish?
Yeah. Having David on this project is just amazing in itself because he is an international, world-renowned architect. And he's an African-American architect, right? And I think his eye and attention to detail is one of the things that I admire. And then his ideology and how he pays attention to the needs of the community and how this space has to function means a lot. I myself, 200 square feet of retail space doesn't look like it's enough space, and in the beginning, I was just like, wow, only 20 square feet. But no, it's really a nice amount of space for emerging entrepreneurs, for a person that's starting out and they only want to have maybe 100 to 150 pieces or items in a store at a time to kind of get that cool fan base or community base to come and shop with them. I mean, it's everything.
Well, I think there's a level of consciousness in not only walking into a space, but having a creative soul create success. You give somebody 1,000 square feet, then you got to charge them $10 a square foot. All of a sudden, it's some change every month, 10 grand, versus you got 200 square foot. They tell you, it's less, you can manage that. How has that affected the style and what is the feeling for those other artists as you guys collaborate inside that space?
Yeah, as we collaborate in that space, the feel is unification, right? Washington, D.C. has been recorded as the first streetwear city in America, from Universal Madness in 1979. A lot of other cities may say different, right? But it's documented and we have the photos and everything, to really push that. I think, just to name a couple of artists that we have in there, you have Kiana Jones, right? Pierre Batchelor, and also Chris Pirate, who are not only just incredible artists in Washington, D.C., but someone like Chris Pirate is internationally known at this point, right? And I think it shows that we could all go our separate ways, but all this place brings us all back together. And we have a designated spot for art and fashion culture, and it's right here in Congress Heights.
So how would you, if you were giving a speech at a Morehouse or a Spelman, and you were going to talk about artists coming to visit, why, when individuals come to DC, why should they take that Southeast journey? Because that's off the beaten path for those that don't love and know the city,
Right.
lots of opportunity. Why should they come visit the village?
The reason why they should come visit the village is two reasons. Number one, because the hands that touched to make this eco-friendly space, which we're talking about Banneker Properties, right? The hands that it took was African-American hands. The design and architecture was built by us. And this is indeed a space for us, right? We have 13 emerging entrepreneurs there. So this is a place where, you can get your start. It's a fresh start for a lot of business owners who don't have to succumb to the high prices and volume of commercial leasing in Washington, D.C., just like any other urban city in America. This place is going to be a place where community can thrive, right? There's going to be community engagement and programming weekly there. We have an amphitheater and we have a playground there as well. So it's kid friendly, right? So if you want to go to a space that is very well designed and that was touched by African-American hands and has some of the elite streetwear companies, right? And artists there, this is the place you want to visit.
So, as a leader of the tribe that's there, when you first brought your friends into the space, what were their reactions to the designs that they're seeing now?
Well, the first reaction was like, wow, and that reason is because, hey, let's let the cat out the bag. I mean, this structure is being built on the campus of St. Elizabeth, right? And in the past, St. Elizabeth was a mental institute, right? And so it had that stigma lingering over it. Southeast is already Ward 8, specifically in Congress Heights, is one of the most underserved communities in the whole country, right? And so for it to be some type of beautification being done in that neighborhood, right? Where we have the elders and even the kids who are so resilient, but like, I think it speaks volumes, right? And so all of the artists, their first reaction was like, wow, and it brought some people to tears, because it's like, we have this beautiful structure here, right? And we're going to be able to operate it every day. And they're seeing their cousins, they're seeing their friends and people that are of the neighborhood and of the community be in this space, operate this space, and speak on the space.
Let's talk about access, because this is creating access so that our kids don't have to get on the bus to be able to go have a positive experience and see an entrepreneur from them. How important is it to be able to not have to leave Southeast DC to have a wonderful retail experience with entrepreneurs of like-mindedness?
It's very important for more than one reason. And I think it's super important because growing up over there in Ward 8, here in Congress Heights, I didn't have too many examples, right, of people in fashion. I didn't have too many examples of major entrepreneurs or people who were making tons of money doing it, right? And I think this actually brings a certain level of importance of people like myself, who's of the neighborhood, from the neighborhood, that had to succumb to all of the ills of the neighborhood, right? Make it out of it and then come back. So we have three things. I learned resilience in this neighborhood, right? This neighborhood taught me how to go out and be resilient, right? So I earned after learning. And now I'm returning back to the community. And I think if we take those three things and everybody in our community operates that same way, where we learn, earn, and then return what we've learned, I think it creates an ecosystem, right? And now it's this sort of a ecosystem where, I'm bringing back information, and it's that each one teach one. And now we have a platform for new artists, entrepreneurs, and the community to come, and they can say, hey, Greg is from this neighborhood. He did it like this, and now I can as well.
Well, I think there's also an economic movement that even with the Marion Barry, Miss Bowser, the idea of you yourself being able to hire the mini you, the guy that's the mini you, that's 16, that might be looking for a job and only needed once a weekend, but can now walk into your store and say, hey, I'll show up on a Saturday, I'll show up on a Friday night, and have a job and not once again have to leave that neighborhood. What's that feel like as you'll be able to hire young individuals from that community and teach them about working with an entrepreneurship, being in a retail relationship, and managing their business so they get that professional etiquette?
It feels good because we get to keep our dollar in our community, right? For so long, our dollar comes in our community and it stays there for what, a couple of minutes, right? And it's usually thrown right back out in someone else's community. The second reason why I think this is great, just job opportunity in itself. Like I said, Ward 8, specifically the Congress Heights, has been a retail desert. It's been a food desert. And we've had to travel outside of Ward 8 to just get things the necessities. We have the fresh food market. It's so hard to get fresh goods in Ward 8. And now we're filling that void. We don't have that issue anymore come next month, right?
So now you've got fresh fruit coming, you've got artists coming, you've got cultural moments happening. What does that do for the spirit of a community when they know that this village is an engine for possibilities? What do you see? How will history write this experience?
I think it uplifts the community. And I think it puts an extra oomph in the backs of the people of this community have been so resilient for so long, right? It's a sense of relief and it's a sense of going into the right direction. Like I said, I'm a third and fourth generation Washingtonian, and I've seen this neighborhood change so much, right? And it feels good to have a community partner or development partner that took the needs, right, and the voices of the community and actually put some action to it, right? And so that feels amazing. It gives us a very fulfilling spirit.
So, from a design perspective, how would you define your design aesthetic?
Um, I would say my design aesthetic is eclectic, but I would also say this, right? It's standard. So I don't believe that my product is an option. It's the rule, right? And so I have a little bit of everything. You want to come in and you just want to get basics with just, nothing really heavy designed on the fashion side, right? You can get that. And if you want design, if you want fashion, you can get that as well. And so I think we take care of the needs of the art and fashion enthusiasts. And so if you're that, then you'll love my brand.
So, when you think about brand architecture and you're working to inspire yourself, where do you go for inspiration now that you are in DC? You've got a retail spot. Where do you find that location inside to get inspiration?
In the past, I travel downtown, I go into certain neighborhoods and I just people watch. But I don't have to do that anymore, right? Because I can do that right here in my backyard in Congress Heights. We have 13 amazing creators that are going to be there with their brains. And so we're going to pull from each other at this point, right? And then I have a whole community that will all be able to be in one space and I can pull from them. So that's where my inspiration is going to come from now.
Beautiful. And you spoke about an amphitheater. What's it like to have an amphitheater in Southeast DC?
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a whole lot of crank is what we call it, right? It's going to be a whole lot of that sound, the soul of the city, the heartbeat of the city, go. And so we're going to be able to bring that right here to Congress Heights in a safe, family, and eco-friendly environment, right? And again, those sounds is entertainment, but it's also a part of a marketing strategy to attract other people outside of Congress Heights to come and learn about these fabulous entrepreneurs and these businesses that we have here.
Super. Well, I want to thank you, Greg. Continued success, brother. I know you're really putting it down for the community, and I
Thank
look
you.
forward to coming over and visit. Give us the name of the village again.
So it's the Sycamore and Oak Retail Village.
All right, Sycamore and Oak. David Ajele is the whole architect of this project. We appreciate you for all you do. I'm Munson Steve for Design and Dialogue, and this is LeGreg Harrison, famous artist, LeGreg Harrison. Thank you.
Thank you.